In this video, I'm going to show you how to quickly fix overexposed images in Photoshop. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is actually click on our image and then go over to channels. You might have channels like right here beside layers or up here. If you don't see it, go to window and then down to channels. And then all we're going to do is hold Command or Control and click on the RGB one right here. And you're going to see that it's going to select all the kind of bright or highlight spots in your image. Then just go back to your image, click here on layer, or click back over to layers, click on your image, and then go Control or Command J to make a copy. Now, if I hide the background, you're going to see that this is what we copied, all those kind of highlighted spots. Then all we're going to do while we're selected on that new layer is change the blend mode right here from normal down to multiply. And you can see it already kind of fixed it a little bit. If I hide this, that's what it was before, that's what it is now. And then all we're going to do is duplicate those. So I'm going to go Command or Control J again to make a copy. And for me, I'm actually going to make a third one just so you can see that you can just keep going. Then I'm going to click on the top one, hold Shift, click on the bottom one, and click on a folder right down here to put them in a group. Now, everything that we do to this group is going to impact all of them now, everything that's in this folder. And really the main thing that I'm looking at here is I don't like all the blue in the snow over here. I like how these details of this snow are showing up and the background, the boots, all this is fine, but I want to get rid of this blue. And one way to do that is to hold Alt and put a mask. So this box with the little circle on it, while you're selected on the full group, click on that. And it's going to be an inverted mask filled with black. So that means it's kind of covering everything we've done. So you'll see your kind of original image. Then we're just going to go over to our brush tool, make sure that you have white in the foreground, and make sure your flow is kind of around 20-25%, somewhere in there. As for your brush, make it as big or small as you want. I'm going to keep my hardness around 50% for now. And all you're going to do is paint over the areas that you want to be affected by what we just did right here, these three, highlight or overexposed areas. So for me, I'm going to do this really quick. It's the boots. So I'm painting in the boots, and I'm going to go over this better after. I'm going to do all this kind of foreground snow right here. So everything here that we kind of brought those details back. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do for my image. Now, if you happen to paint over an area that you don't want as part of the selection, like right here, it turns really blue, and I don't want that, then just flick this back over to black and get rid of it. Just paint back over it to erase it out of the mask. If at this point you feel like you need more highlight recovery, then simply just go over to any one of your layers and go Command or Control J to make a copy, and that'll increase the intensity. On the other hand, if you want to decrease the intensity, then obviously just click on any layer and delete it, hit the trash can to get rid of it. If you want to fine tune it even more, so let's say you think two of them was kind of not enough and then the third one was too intense, then just go to that third one and then go to opacity and slide this down on that third one until you get the look that you want. And then you can also click on the mask of the group layer here and maybe feather your mask a little bit, or more importantly, you can change the density of the mask. So right now, if we look at this mask, you can see that whatever is black, we are seeing from the main background layer, the original one. Whatever's white, that's what we're seeing from this collection of layers here, which is on the boots and this snow right here. So if I change that density all the way down to 0, then that means that everything is white here, which means we're not seeing anything from the original background anymore. So if you play around with this, you can kind of adjust the overall look. So I'm going to go with, maybe like that. And you can see that it doesn't affect the areas at all that we painted. So the areas that were white on this mask, as we slide this, it's not affected at all. So this is just kind of to fine tune those other areas that we didn't deal with before. So maybe they were too bright, you thought. You can kind of tone those ones back a little bit to get the look that you want. And if you notice here, the mask is now turning gray here instead of black. So if I went this way a little bit more, you can see it's going to be a light gray. So I'm going to put it somewhere around like 75 there, which is kind of a dark gray. And that's pretty much it for the highlight recovery part, but obviously just like any other image, now you want to fine tune a few things like your color and exposure. So for me, I'm just gonna go over here and make sure I'm outside my group like this and click on this little half circle adjustment layer. I'm gonna put a vibrance on the top right here. And I'm actually gonna click this to make it a clipping mask. So it's only affecting the group of things right here and not my original image. And this just allows you to kind of slide this to adjust the, the vibrance obviously of just those layers because they were pretty vibrant. So I'm gonna just slide this back a little bit. You might want to use this, this might be a thing that you end up using because sometimes there's a color shift when you do this in your image. And so you might want to use this to kind of help match your new kind of colors to the original image to make it look better. So that's one there. And then I'm just gonna also click on here and add a levels. I'm gonna go into that one and change it to multiply. It's gonna look harsh right there. And then I'm just gonna go into opacity, crank it all the way down to 0 so that I can kind of slowly slide it up until I kind of get the contrasty look that I want. That's just two kind of quick, simple ones that you can do to fine tune your final look. And now if I go over to the background layer here and hold Alt and click on the eyeball, you can see that's where we started, and that is our final image. If you got something out of this video, make sure to drop a like, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.